Fallout 76 Wastelanders coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been very very well, hopefully similar to Hello Games. It
Right.
that Fallout 76 came out and people really did not like it, and people were trying really hard to like it and just couldn't. So it's
Yeah, this
I
one
heard
is
it.
very interesting.
Go ahead. Did you watch it all? I watched IGN's some of their coverage of it, where he just gave his thoughts on what he played, and that was sort of interesting. I forget who exactly was playing it, but they were talking about how, yeah, it starts out and you're playing missions, and they're pretty good. It felt weird that if you'd played it beforehand, it's sort of siphoning you into a vanilla 76 missions, and
Okay.
that feels kind of weird. So it's like, no, just let me play the people mission. So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, they kind of mix their peanut butter in with their poop, and they're hoping people don't necessarily notice, but we'll see. I think the real test is going to be people that have never played it. Can you pop in and have a good time with these missions?
Right.
So
Yeah, this
that'll
is an
be,
interesting time for them because it could be a rebirth for Fallout 76 and kind of turn it over, just like you said, with Hello Games, with providing that content that people wanted in the first place. I wonder if it's
yeah,
enough, if they've had enough time to create enough of a single player experience that will satisfy people, or if it's just
yeah,
something that can kind of, or even if they keep adding to it, that's fine. I imagine that's the plan too. It's still like a live service game. It's just with the single player content.
yeah. It'll be interesting. I was surprised that there is voice acting for these characters, but I guess, well, I don't know. It's sort of a pseudo MMO, so
Right.
I think it'd be acceptable for them to not, but they do. And the voice acting sounded pretty good. It's,
I think they have enough,
yeah,
to lean back on with previous Fallout games to just kind of follow that same thread and implement it
yeah,
into Fallout 76. Yeah, I think this is what people want. It's good. I'm hoping that it's well received. It's kind of funny to look back at 76 originally because on paper it's kind of a neat idea, but requires all this other stuff to work. To not have
right,
actual NPCs, but to rely on a community to like trade with each other and develop these like roles, like I'm a villain, I'm a hero, and you can talk to
yeah,
me, you can, to actually build the story together. That's cool on paper, but it requires a community that actually is passionate about doing that and not being assholes,
yeah,
not just killing each other instantly, and like creating that environment. But I don't know how you
yeah.
do that out the gate.
And it's tricky too because with that, something. So in this game, it sucks if you get killed by another player, or something can happen like that. But whereas you look at it in contrast, so Sea of Thieves, where like, yeah, you have, you can kind of go around and you can gank or you can go on missions, and it works really well as that live sort of a live service game, or that pseudo MMO. But at the end of the day, nothing really matters. If you gank me a bunch of times, like, yeah, I lose my shit, which, maybe I worked for 2 hours on, but that's it. It's
Yeah.
all I lost. And so it's interesting seeing with these games how you can really affect it. I don't know how you could, how you compare this to a Destiny or something. I've never really been into these live service games. Even like when I played Division, I still wasn't that into that aspect of it. I just kind of wanted to play a shooter. So it'll be interesting to see, how this really does survive as a live service game.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
and it seems like they're
Yeah,
leaning more into what people wanted was more of a traditional Fallout game. But
yeah,
it's kind of like looking back. I feel like they could have created something cool and unique, and I get what they wanted to do, but it's just so difficult to do that. To rely on on actual players to kind of build the story and make it
yeah,
enough where other players want to jump in and experience in that story. It's almost like you needed to trust like these expert players to craft a story and always stay
right,
as those characters like live in the game,
yeah.
like depend on them. But yeah, it's tough, but it's a neat idea.
Well, there were interesting things. Like, do you remember the Deathclaw maze?
No, like in the original Fallout's or in the
In Fallout 76, there was this guy who was tricking newer players into going into this maze that he would lock behind them, and there was a Deathclaw in there, and it was really pretty funny. So there was some
that's
interesting
awesome.
stuff. It could be, it could be the Fallout, it could be the Animal Crossing of Fallout games where people have their camps and they're setting them up nice so people can come visit.
Right.
Maybe you could work something out like that, but no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to nail, but I appreciate what they're trying to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like just lean more into Fallout. And of course, I can't wait till like the next actual mainline Fallout. That would
It's gonna be so long.
yeah, yeah. I'm hoping they really overhaul that engine too, because you can't keep, or unless they completely. I'm not saying
They're
like,
not going to. They've at this. They're just
yeah,
not.
it is.
They
Yeah,
refuse.
it's crazy to expect them because yeah, you're right. Their history shows that they just keep like reworking that same engine. I get that, but I want to see some huge strides to that same engine if they're not going to like just use another one. It's hard to do. So I want to hopefully see some like crazy efficiency with that engine and taking advantage of next gen, and they're gonna have to with that Starscream or whatever the fuck they're calling that new one. That's gonna have to be
Starfield.
Starfield. There you go. An amazing next gen kind of thing across the board. So they can't mess that up.
That's what they claim. I still think that, honestly, at this point, I'm starting to kind of get bored with the Fallout universe a little bit. It's sort of been the same thing every time now. It's just, old-timey steampunk. And, it doesn't matter if it's in the future like this last one was, because it all looks the same. Nothing's really changing. That's why... whatchamacallit was such a breath of fresh air, Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yep.
Even though I would still say that game was subpar compared to Fallout 4. What are we on now?
Yeah, Fallout 4 was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, I'd still pick Fallout 4 over it because I think it had better gameplay and better stories, but in some aspects, but at least we're getting away from it. We're trying something new. We need more people. We need more blood in that fresh blood in that genre, but the problem is that genre is so fucking hard to make.
Right.
So